Well, we talked about the Dothan Wolves boys basketball team creating a new identity this week. It was time to put it to the test when they welcomed Cottonwood. Now, Wolves would get the ball after the tip off. They get the ball movement going from really outside the key here to set up the shot. Finally, it's going to be Kingston Lane who drives in right side and finds Keith Stanley under the basket for the score. So Wolves go up 2-0 here. The Bears struggled to get some things to fall pretty early. Jaden Garrett will help take the lead, though, with the reverse move to the basket to finally get the Bears on board. Bears are trail by 2 after that. Final few seconds of the quarter now. Cottonwood set to inbound the ball. Turnover happens. It gives the Wolves another chance to score. Cameron Finn goes up. Ball falls in, but an offensive foul is called. Wolves would lead by 10 after the first quarter. They go on and move on to 7-1 before their road test after taking down Cottonwood 55-26.